Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome to Ace Podcast. No, welcome to Cardiff City World, all around the world. It's been a long week. I apologise. Welcome to Cardiff City World. I'm Si. We are going to be talking all things Cardiff City this evening on a range of topics. But it is a bit of a free for all. It's the normal Monday night show. The breakdown's going to be tomorrow. So tonight is the What You Want to Talk About podcast, if you like. So anything you want to talk about, get involved, ask your questions, subjects, 45 minutes or so. We'll just chat about the Bluebirds, talk about, obviously, they had a friendly yesterday. If you've seen the highlights of that on their YouTube page, talk about the old City Legends evening last night. And for those of you, if you want some extra kind of content, I was on the EFL debate with Gabriel Sutton earlier today. It was supposed to be live on Twitter, but it didn't go out live in the end. But it is up now on YouTube and Spotify. I've retweeted that on Twitter and stuff, the links and all that sort of stuff. So check that out. That was an interesting conversation with Gabriel. He's a real good commentator. So that was fun. It was a lot of fun. But what do you want to talk about? Oh, it's my Andy Campbell move. Andy Campbell football show. Them are the days, isn't it? I got really dry mouth, so I apologise. I've done a lot of talking over the last 24 hours. But it was fun. Everyone seen the Joe Ledley singing and dancing videos yet? They were good. I recorded some content yesterday, but I wish I could tell you guys something, but I can't. I had such an interesting conversation with someone last night. That's gonna lead to something groundbreaking, to say the least. Like for me personally, for Ace Podcast Nation, for Cardiff City World, if it comes to fruition, it will be truly incredible. Bigger, better, more amazing than anything I've ever done to date. James, I just saw your comment. Has Romeo been confirmed to leave? Not that I'm aware of. I did hear a little whisper that it might be sort of in the works, but nothing like concrete that I'd sort of make a whole show about. Just something. Matt says, when's the next Legends event? The next Legends event should be in September. Just got to nail down a venue. Speaking to someone hopefully tomorrow actually about that. So it should be good. I'm gonna get my voice back a little bit. It was an interesting night, and do you know what? I loved it. Like obviously the biggest event we've done in terms of people there, and each event's been bigger. Rowdy crowd. It was fun. I had the DJ as well during different parts. That was good. Great venue. Joe Ledley was absolutely superb. And one of the things in terms of the conversations we had was, I was really happy that Joe got the opportunity to talk about and tell like the truth, tell his side of everything which happened leading to him leaving Cardiff City, because it was clearly difficult, and it clearly like bothered him, the things that Risdale had said, the things like the way he had been portrayed during that. And even like when we were putting up posts about the tickets and stuff, there was a few people commenting going, like, he's a snake and he's this, and why would I want to go there? He's not a City legend. It's like, I'm glad you took the time to write that, but whatever. In my opinion, he's a Cardiff City legend, most definitely a Welsh football legend. Like, he was a massive part of that 2016 team. Came back from a fractured leg, worked hard to get there, and then played every game. Was a huge part of it. And he was superb last night. It was like a born entertainer, mate. I'm telling you, he was like, didn't really dodge any questions, didn't like answer truthfully everything, answered everyone's questions, wasn't like bothered by the rowdiness of everything and people being drunk. And he sang and he had dance and had a laugh at his own expense, had a laugh. Very witty guy, just very easy to talk to. And yet again, another City Legend event put on by Ace Podcast Nation with 100% good top feedback, which is, I like it. Like, I'm proud to have done it, and that's 5 now we've done. Each getting bigger each time, and I think I can safely say that everyone was excellent. Last night run super smoothly. The Splott cons and Jordan and Carly, who own it and work there, like just so accommodating, so easy to work with. Very happy, and definitely be going back there for another one, because it was loads of fun. I gotta say, I'm in absolute agony. Feel rough and tired. It's been a long week, and then just doing back-to-back shows this evening. It's been a week and a half. I got another podcast in the morning at 10 o'clock, so that's going to be another interesting one. But what do you want to talk about? Let's talk about the Bath friendly. I can't see anything about Romeo leaving. Certainly not confirmed. I will have another little look. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm being honest. I think it's probably right for all parties for him to go. But Cardiff last night, so I can kind of, I guess, tell the story to a certain extent now. So there was a certain Welshman from the current side who was going to be coming last night, and at the last minute was unable to. And the reason he was unable to is because Cardiff arranged a behind the closed doors friendly with Bath City, which was very obviously unfortunate for us and for me. But obviously he's got to do what he's got to do. It's his job. I watched the highlights earlier. It looks like comfortable. I don't think you could take too much from it. I noticed like Isaac Davis played in the second half, I think, judging by the highlights, but it's difficult to say from highlights. So he didn't play with like the first team players, but doesn't necessarily, it's not a bad thing. But I do want to see him linking up with that first team squad. We've brought in a few under 21s this week. There's one lad, the 19-year-old attacking midfielder, but also striker, Reindorf, I think. I had a conversation with someone earlier who's a Norwich City fan. Said he's a bit of a player in. He qualifies for both England and Ghana. He was out on loan at Kettering last year. So I don't know whether we might try and send him out to someone a bit higher up in the pyramid and see what's what. They also confirmed the capture of Abate Garbatahayan. He's a box-to-box midfielder, qualifies for USA, Nigeria and England. He's been on trial with Brentford last summer, caught the eye of Southampton, but ended up signing with Cardiff. He's 20 years old. Had a short-term contract with League One side Port Vale last summer. Took him up to January with the view to extending. However, in November, the registration of the player had been rejected by the football authorities. So he'd now go back to the USA. So it sounds like he didn't have international clearance. But then Cardiff offered him a trial, and he's impressed. So they've brought him in. Happy days. Happy days indeed. It's I know the club is working hard on signings. I think it's difficult, isn't it? Because the Euros are still on, and I think that it does disrupt things a little bit and makes like agents and whatnot probably more problematic to deal with. But on the other side of that, the club has to get moving. We've got to start moving players in and out. Ruben Colwell, there was one bit. If you see the one goal, makes a lovely run beyond, and you can hear the coach. I think it's, I can't remember who had the ball. Someone gets the ball in sort of central area and knocks it out wide, and you can hear one of the coaches saying, "You've got to give him runners beyond." And that little comment was really encouraging for me, because that was one of the things that we lacked massively last year. Was so often Colwell would have the ball on the ground, the edge of the box, and there would be no one making any runs. And you're just like, for God's sake, need to get some pace in there, and we need to get a striker. If you haven't seen it yet, check out the video I dropped last night while we were all at the City Legends Joe Ledley event. I dropped a video looking at why Cardiff City want to sign Kiefer Moore and why do we keep going back for him and like why is he such a big, like why can't we just move on? And I kind of just looked at the attributes of why Cardiff want to sign him, and like basically like a little bit of a scout report on Kiefer Moore. And I'm sure people will disagree. There was someone who's never mind. This just didn't even watch the video. It's just interesting to me. Like they're clearly keen on him. Bullett's clearly keen on him. He's leaving Bournemouth, so it just will come down to now whether he goes to us or Sheffield United. I don't really like. I would prefer us to get him than not, but more important to me is that we don't waste all summer trying to get him. Like, just make it a yes or no kind of scenario, and then leave it at that. Is my opinion. But yeah, drop your comments. Go and watch that video. Drop your comments underneath. Tell me what you think. Do you agree with what I said? Do you disagree, or like, do you think I was wrong in what I said? And is about his attributes and his skill set. I don't know. I'm always interested in people's opinions. Everyone's got opinions on Cardiff. That's why we're all here. I welcome everyone's opinions, as long as you're not a knobhead about it. Like, come on. Should might have a new face on tomorrow on the channel as well. Just sort of looking into that. Really enjoyed chatting to him earlier, so I think he might come on this week at some point, talk about the club, which again we welcome. We want like additional views, additional people. It's a fan channel at the end of the day. You know, I started it fine, but like it's fans. I want different opinions, different types of people. As long as you know you can put your point across like fairly coherently and whatnot, then happy days as far as I'm concerned. But let's have a look. I saw something about Bullet being linked with ex-United. So apparently we're interested in bringing Jaden Philogene back. Manchester United are interested in bringing Jaden Philogene to United, which is fascinating to me. I think his agent is just doing a real good job of drumming up paper talk, because apparently it was Reese who told me that he was outside Barcelona. His agent turned up at Barcelona taking pictures and as if he was going for a meeting, and Barcelona had to sort of say, "No, we don't know who you are." I don't know if that's. I just remember you saying something along those lines. Jaden Philogene is a baller on his day. I still think that he lacks a little bit of consistency, but on his day, he is fucking quality. Like, I would love to have him back playing in off the right or the left. That would be the dream. Not gonna happen. He's got bigger fish to fry at this point in his career. Good luck to him. Absolute quality player. Derby owner made a statement, a little comment about Ebo Adams this week. Derby owner David Close said Ebo Adams is just one of several players they're looking into this summer, but admitted the Cardiff City player made a massive contribution in their League One promotion. The Rams return to the Championship next season, and Ebo Adams was a massive part of that, with fans chanting sign him up during their 2-0 win over Carlisle. There's a real appetite like that, and we had BBC Derby journalists dead doors on previously that they love him, they want him back, and I think it just comes down to what the club have in mind. I don't see a place for him in the Cardiff City side, if I'm honest, unless he's going to sit on the bench as backup to Ebo Adams. But during the show with Gabriel Sutton earlier, we talked about Eli King, and Eli King is really highly rated outside of Cardiff City, so it'll be interesting to see whether Eli King becomes that natural backup to Siopis, because Eli can play a Siopis role, but he can also play as a number 8. And so I was concerned that he wasn't up to the level. But Gabriel made a real, I think it was Gabriel, it might have been Steve Day who was on with us, made a great point in that. If you think about it, like signings from the Scottish Premier League to the Championship, particularly signings from the Scottish Premier League to Cardiff, historically have been a real good turnover, a real good changeover, a good match. Now, Eli King spent the second half of last season out of Ross County, was very impressive, and particularly impressive in the playoff game they played. So maybe he is one who can come back and be that player and step up. I still think we shouldn't write off David Turnbull. I think Turnbull has got all the attributes to be a quality Championship footballer. I think he can be a real baller for Cardiff. So I hope, because there is rumours that he wasn't a Bullet signing, he was a board signing. So I would like to think that, Bullet will, Turnbull will have settled now into the new area and stuff, and he can hit the ground running in pre-season, because I think he's got a lot to offer. I do think we've got to sell a midfielder to make room for one. So I think that's probably in my opinion, it should be Ryan Wintle. But he's another one outside of Cardiff, really highly rated. I think he does certain things really, really well, Ryan Wintle. But I think what we need him for, he can't do. So, and when you look at it with Rawls as the club captain, new contract, you've got Siopis is the manager's guy. Ruben and Ramsey are kind of untouchable. And then you've got Turnbull has only just come in. Are you going to sell him 6 months later? Seems unlikely. Like you think he's going to get a bit of a chance to show if he can do it. And it almost leaves Wintle as the odd one out. Maybe they sell Eli King. I think Joel Colwell, is going to have to go out on loan. I don't really see a pathway for him into the first team at the moment. I think, but he needs to play football and he needs to get physically stronger to be able to implement himself on the game. He's such a quality footballer though. And like a couple of times in pre-season last year, I think it was in Portugal, it was really good, like even though he's a bit small. And I don't see Bullet playing him. It will be interesting if Errol Bullet is as will he be as stubborn with the youth players as he was last year? Because last year I think there was definitely a feeling in the second half of the season that he should have given the youth players a go earlier, younger players, should I say, earlier. But I think, as some people in the chat made the comment at the time, and I think we talked about it, part of it was probably because Errol Bullet felt like he wasn't secure in his job. So he felt like he had to try and win football matches. So he went with the experienced players, which so often happens with, managers like Neil Warnock and some others. So do you think now this season we will see a little bit less stubbornness from Errol Bullet? Will he be a bit more flexible with his team selections and things like that? In the first half of last season, I was really impressed with how tactically clever Errol Bullet was. I thought he was really, really clever. So I would like to think that now that that's out the way and he's got his contract, I would like to see, hope to see a return to what he was like earlier in the season. He's set up slightly different for different teams, different clubs. And for me, that's vital. I think having that flexibility is really important. So I'd like to think that we won't see as much stubbornness, not as much. Like a manager has to be stubborn to a certain degree and has to stick to his guns. But I'd like to hope that he's settled into the Championship himself a bit more now, and maybe feels like he knows the league a little bit more, and perhaps he can now, just push on a bit himself, because I think Errol Bullet showed a lot of promise last season. But he's got to kick on. He's got to continue the rebuild. So he's not devoid. Like, as much as I think he's the right man for Cardiff City, he is not devoid of criticism, and he did make mistakes. He has to change the way we approach home games. I still wonder, and I know I've said this a few times, I still do wonder if we might revert to a 3-5-2, but it's going to be really interesting on how we approach the season, particularly the home games. I'm fascinated to see how we set up for the home games. I also think, look, I've said this a few times, I do think that there's potentially our squad is more suited to a 3-5-2 than it is a 4-2-3-1 in some ways. It'll obviously be dependent on who we bring in, who's available, etc. But I definitely think there's a way we could play 3-5-2 and be flexible, be dangerous, whatever you want to say it is. Like, I definitely think there's potential for that. It's just whether the manager wants to utilise it now, because he did utilise it a little bit in the EFL Cup. He used 3-5-2 a bit, but I think that was more because he wanted to rest certain players. But he played it in Turkey as well. He definitely, like, in Turkey, I was looking the other day, he played 3-5-2 quite often. And do we have the players for it? I don't know. If we do it, he's got to do it in pre-season to get him ready for it. So we should have an idea of what he's intending to play from those pre-season games. I guess we'll find out. Guys, if you've got any questions or anything in particular you want to discuss, whatever it may be, obviously get involved. We'll have some more, obviously have content every day this week, but we might have another scout report. We'll have the breakdown tomorrow, the Friday Night Lights, of course, on Friday when me and Pan debating a new subject, as well as, of course, the Flower Hour on Wednesday and Saturday, where Robert and Matthew will do a quiz Wednesday probably, and then Saturday is a bit more free-flowing. No Flower Hour yesterday, so you'll have to wait until whole week until the next one. But as I said, I'm hoping to get some new faces involved, new series and stuff, take the pressure off me a little bit, and we'll have some interviews. I got an interview coming out with former Wales international Peter. I've forgotten the fucking name. It's been a long week, man. I've got all sorts of interviews coming out. I'm doing an interesting interview tomorrow with this very famous businessman, motivational speaker. Don't know what you call how you describe it. But he's an interesting chap. Got a big following, so I'm looking forward to it. And kind of looking forward to seeing where we go. Peter Nicholas. Sorry, I knew I was right. I got a podcast with Peter Nicholas, former Wales international. She's got to be edited. That'll be out this week. We've also got a question of Cardiff City coming up as well, which is we filmed that a couple of weeks ago, which is a spin-off, a parody, if you like, of A Question of Sport, featuring Team Terry Phillips versus Team Abandonato. It's going to be a lot of fun. That was so much fun to film, by the way. A Question of Cardiff City. Yeah, it was low. That was fun. We're going to do some more of those, like game show spin-offs. I think long term they'll probably be for Ace Podcast Nation members show, like there'll be Patreon specials. But I wanted the first one, the Question of Sport one, to be A Question of Cardiff City, and we'll do it on the old on Cardiff City World. If you've got ideas for shows, for content, whatever it may be, make sure you get involved. Send them in. If you want to be a member, obviously the link's below. Let's have a look at some latest Cardiff City news, because someone mentioned that Romeo's left or leaving, but I haven't seen anything today. Let's have a look what the news is. Cameron Antwi went to Newport. It's an interesting one again, because 22 years old, He played a few games in the EFL Cup at the start of the season, I think, from memory. Been in the squad, but then didn't play. I know he had an injury, didn't he, mid-season? But he didn't play when he was given the youngsters a go at the end of the season. He didn't get his chance. Newport could be a good move for him, I think. Be interesting if that comes off. Looks like it's going to be a permanent deal. It does seem like we're letting a few sort of fringe through a few of the youngsters who they don't think perhaps going to make it into the first team for whatever reason. Looks like they're sort of letting them go. And I know, I know Paulo Bandonato said yesterday again, he thinks there's more interest in Ruben Colwell and Mark McGuinness than there is in others like PNG and whoever. But I still believe that if you made Ryan Wintle available for sale, there would be clubs to buy him. If you made Callum Robinson available for sale, there would be clubs who'd come in for him. PNG, I think clubs have to match our price for him. Darren Whitcott reported yesterday that Kiefer Moore's leaving Bournemouth, and he's currently decided his next move. There's interest from Sheffield United and Cardiff City, among others in the Championship. So I know Darren's got good links with Kiefer Moore. So if he tells you something about Kiefer Moore, he's right. I'd be gutted if we sold Mark McGuinness, I got to say. Someone said yesterday, I can't remember who said it, someone said that they would be more disappointed. Oh no, they wouldn't sell Gutas, which I agree with, but they said they wouldn't be disappointed if we sold McGuinness. And I was like, Jesus. I think I thought he really showed. And actually, if we were to switch to a 3, even more suited to Mark McGuinness. But as a ball playing centre back, I thought he's positionally pretty good, Mark McGuinness. He's good on the ball. And I thought he was a big part of when Cardiff played well at the start of the season. I thought Mark McGuinness was a massive part of that. And actually, when he got injured, was kind of when we had that bit of, or it certainly interjected a little bit with each other, him being injured and now a dip in form. But I like McGuinness. I think he's a good age, good skill set, suits the way that Buller wants to play. I thought him and Gutas made a good pairing. And I think our spine is looking all right at the moment. So you've got Halveth or Alnwick. I think they're two good Championship keepers. You then have Gutas and McGuinness. I think we do need a centre-back to go with them as a backup or whatever. And then Siopis. And then is that who's next to him? Probably need to bring someone in. But then you never know. Maybe Eli King. I think Gabriel and Steve talked me into Eli King a little bit, because I assumed we probably end up selling him or loaning him. But I think the more I think of it, he did well in Scotland, and usually that's a good indicator for a player coming over. So we should definitely give him a chance in pre-season and see if he can be that dynamic number 8 that we're looking for, or if he can just be the backup to Siopis. And a young backup to Siopis is not the worst thing. And then maybe you sell Wintle to make room for the dynamic number 8. That makes a lot of sense to me, because you've got Rawls, you've got the new player, you've got Turnbull. So that would make a lot of sense to me, to be honest. I think Romeo, you put him up for sale, people come in, although I'm surprised the club didn't just cut ties with him, to be honest. I half expected him to be sacking, but they also have to go through a certain amount of process within it. You can't just chuck someone out. You have to have, there's like a process, isn't there, between the disciplinary thing of you've got to go through the steps and whatnot. So I guess we'll see what the outcome of that is, whether it's a sacking or whether it's they just move him on. Who else is there which I think we could potentially see leaving the club? I wouldn't be surprised if Isaac Davis gets sold if a decent money offer comes in. I don't know whether I agree that he should be sold. But I think with the club needing to raise funds, I think it makes a lot of sense that we would probably sell Perry Ng, Callum Robinson, Romeo, and then maybe Wintle and Isaac Davis. But you've got to get the players in. You have to back the manager. And it's a difficult one because in the ideal world, you want to bring players in and then sell players so that you don't leave yourself short. Because if you're short, like if you sold all those players and then try and go and sign people, clubs know that you've got no players and they up their prices because they know you're desperate. And then that's when you have problems getting deals over the line and stuff like that. So I think it's important that we try and get, we somewhat try and get some business done before we try and get players in and out, or in and out. But it's difficult, isn't it? Because you can't always do that. But if we've got like 10, 11 first team players, realistically, and then we go in and say, how much do you want for whoever? Clubs are going to look at it and go, well, you've got no midfielders or you've got no fullbacks. So we're asking you for 3 million for this player who's only worth 500 grand. And then the move breaks down and you're really struggling for players. The good thing is we have got a crop of impressive youngsters. So I'm happy on that front because what I think is because we have that sort of crop of like 5 or 6 youngsters coming into the first team, if we end up a little bit short, not like in a massive way, but just a little bit short of depth in the squad, I feel those youth players are ready to step up and fill up the squad places in the team and push on. I think that's Conte, Ashford, people like this, like they can play, and they can be squad players without a shadow of a doubt. So I'm not, I think that gives us a little bit of a security net actually in terms of moving players in and out, because I do think it's a tricky process because we have to be ready to play the season, but we also need to move some of these guys out, like, for a variety of reasons. In certain cases, it is the time to move on and part ways. Shake hands, say thank you. Sorry it didn't work. Move on. I don't want to see players at the football club next year who are not fully on board with Errol Buller. I think that'll be a massive mistake by the football club. If there's anyone in that squad who's not 100% behind the manager that we know about and that they know about, it would be really, really disappointing if they end up still in the squad next year, because it causes issues. No matter how you look at it, it just causes issues. Everyone's got to be pulling in the same direction. It's a massive part of football and team sports generally. Everyone being on board, you've got to be. Paul says a few of these players need to step up this season. Yeah, I agree. 100% agree. Reece says, Seeing Bullet said he wants 3 or 4 players in within the next few days, hoping to see some real quality. I mean, wouldn't that be a massive lift for everyone concerned if, like, literally in the next 3 or 4 days, Cardiff announced like 3 or even 4 like quality first team signings that, like, you're looking at them and you're like, wow, they're going straight in the first 11. Like, that would be such a lift. And it would be so un-Cardiff like to be that organised and that sort of prepared for the season. But it would be massive. It would be massive. And I think it's not just backing the manager. Let's back him early. I just want to go 1 year. I just want to go into the transfer deadline day and just be like, I don't need to even worry about what Cardiff are doing, because we've done all our business and we are happy with our squad. Like, what a refreshing change that would be. Or even just go into deadline day and say, with the sort of attitude of, well, maybe we could get one more if it's a special player, but generally speaking, I'm pretty happy. Like, be so thrilled with that. Will it happen? Don't know. We're a very reactive club. They are trying to change it, I know, but the lack of a football man still worries me. The lack of a football person within the structure above Errol Bullitt still worries me in terms of, I think if there's a football guy there, he understands the need to get it done early. Whereas if it's all businessmen, are they looking just to get the best deal? I don't know. Paul says, Tsunda is still undergoing rehabilitation. Tsunda will be missed pre-season training as he goes through treatment. Physio. That's a bit of a blow and a bit disappointing, because I think if we were going to make a judgment on whether he's going to be good enough to play in that Cardiff City side, or be a genuine championship player this year, kind of would have liked to have seen him in pre-season, but it's not to be. Heard good things about him. Gotta be honest. And I can only go on that. But I've heard good things. Should we have a little look at his? Let's have a little look at his stats, his scout reports. 25, Japanese centre back, can play left back also. His market value has gone like that progressively. It's usually a decent sign. Career stats: played 66 games, 1 goal, 1 assist. Obviously, defenders, you're not really looking at that. By all accounts, or certainly from what I've heard from people, he looked really good last year in the J1 league, and people seem to think that he'll be able to make the step up. It might take him a bit of time to settle and things like that, but generally, people who would know and understand football, they seem to think he'll be ready to be a part of the squad, which is a really interesting thing, because how do you judge like the J League to the Championship? I think it's very difficult. But what a sign! If he turns out to be a first team player and genuine first team player, what a signing that is! Like 500 grand or whatever it was, if that. Beautiful, loving that. Love a bargain, me. Love a bargain. Can someone tell me what days and times the Euros semi-finals are on this week, please? I'd really appreciate it, because my screen's frozen. Paul says, I've got a funny feeling we'll be shopping last minute again. Yeah, unfortunately, I think I anticipate that might be the case, But that's probably just like the pessimistic, historic Cardiff fan in me. Just to finish, I'm going to play a little game of Who Am I? I'm only going to do one, and I'm going to make it a real difficult one. But just for a bit of fun to finish. And then I'll wrap it up as I go and pick my son up. What would you, before I do the Who Am I, this is a question now. There's good 50 odd you watching. So I want you to tell me. Tomorrow night is the breakdown pod. Obviously, speaks for itself. We break down things. We look at maybe 5 players Cardiff need at right back, blah, blah, blah. Have a little scout report or someone, a deep dive into someone, whatever it may be. We break stuff down. And then in the season, it's equivalent of 5 things we learned from the game. What would you like the breakdown to be on tomorrow night? Give me some subjects, some players, whatever it may be, and I would like to get your opinion. Thank you very much, Reese. Tuesday and Wednesday, France, Spain Tuesday, England, Holland Wednesday, 8 o'clock kickoffs. Reese says 5 players we need to sell. Okay, interesting. Anyone else got any suggestions? Who am I? I was born in September 79. I played for Arsenal. I played for West Bromwich Albion. I played for Ron in France. I played for Galatasaray, Eintracht Frankfurt, Cardiff City. I scored 14 goals, but did not. 14 games I played, but I did not score any goals. I played for Fulham, but I also made 82 appearances for my club, for my country, and 5 goals. I also appeared for my country at 23s, 20 and 17s. I played in a range of positions. Very versatile player. Always a cult hero wherever I went. But who am I? You tell me. I love a who am I. They are the quality little plays. I do enjoy it. I left out some clubs and like the name of his country and stuff because it'll give it away too easy. Played centre back, defensive midfield, central midfield. Played a range of positions. Pretty sure he played it like a number 10 at some point as well. Sure he did. Is he just a defensive midfielder now, maybe? Because he's still playing. Age 44, still playing. Oh, no, he retired in 2022. There you go. I apologise. Got excited then. Let's have a look. Give you some more information. You think he might still be playing, you know? Right, played defensive midfield, 274 appearances, 8 goals, 9 assists in my career. I also played 9 appearances as centre-back, 7 as an out-and-out central midfielder, but I also played on the right-hand side of midfield and attacking midfield. Okay, so I'll give you the information again. I was born in September 79. I played for Fulham, Eintracht Frankfurt, Galatasaray, West Bromwich Albion, Cardiff City, Arsenal, among other clubs. Stade Reims in France. And I made, what did I say? 80 odd appearances for my country, 82 appearances for my country, scoring 5 goals. I also represented them at the Olympics, as well as playing for the under 23s, the 20s, and the 17s. I played for a host of other clubs, and I only retired very, very recently. It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. No one's going to get it. I'll give you, it's 9:01 on my clock. I'll give you to 9:03 to get it. I'm not going to sit here in silence, but that's how much time you've got to get it. It's a tricky one. The problem is, if I tell you some of the other clubs or the country you played for, you'll get it straight away. But in my career, I made 43 appearances in the Bundesliga. I made 66 appearances in the Premier League. I made 17 appearances in the Championship, 8 FA Cup appearances, even played in the Champions League 7 times, EFL Cup 7 times, UEFA Cup 6 times, Ligue 1 5 times, Turkish League 4 times. A range of places. I'm gonna have to give you some extra clues. I also played for Osaka. I also played for Sapporo, Fulham, Nankataku, and I represented Japan 82 times. Should get it from that. I think I should get it from that. You should get it from that. That's not right, Gav, if that's a suggestion for Who Am I. But if it's a suggestion for tomorrow's show, then maybe just clarify which one and we'll go from there. Right then. I thought you'd get it when I said he was a Japanese international. And he played for Osaka and he started his career, played at Arsenal then, and went on loan to Fulham, Cardiff, West Brom, Japan. Yeah, so who else? What else could I give you to get it before I give it to you? I mean, not many Japanese players have played for Cardiff, I don't think. I think I'm right in saying that. Can anyone get it before I wrap up the show? I might just leave it and let you all tell you tomorrow. Yeah, maybe that's a better idea. Make sure you subscribe to the show. Make sure you've got it all locked in. And Cardiff City content 7 days a week. Stephen Colker, Reese, played for Japan. Come on, bruh. Right, I'll do it again. Born in September 1979. I played for Osaka, Fulham, Sao Paulo, Eintracht Frankfurt, Galatasaray, West Brom, Cardiff City, Ron, Arsenal. I made 82 appearances for my country, and I also played in the Olympics as a central midfielder by trade, but I also did play in a range of other positions, from centre-back to right mid to number 10, among others. Well then, Gavin. Oh, and Paul and Gavin. Yeah, here we go. Well then, Stephen Colker. Wow. Well done all. Nice little way to finish. Bit of an easy one, like just a light-hearted show tonight, lads. As we just relax. I'm very, very tired from yesterday. There's not much news and stuff on at the moment, but we will have some proper content this week. Scout reports, looking at transfer targets, news. Hoping to get a couple of people on as well. So lots and lots of stuff, and hopefully I'll be able to edit the question of Cardiff City for next weekend, and we'll get that out on the weekend as well, which is quality. Gavin Callan said Inamoto used to get Cav and Ernie cheap TVs. Is that true? I'm going to ask them later. Get that story on tape, I think. Reese's name used to be Inamoto because he dyed his hair accidentally. Wow. Guys, it's been a pleasure. As I say, nice light-hearted show tonight. But we are back every single day at different times, different shows, different people. I will be back tomorrow for the breakdown. Drop it in the comments if you've got any suggestions. We had a couple of suggestions. Matt said break down the 5 City Legends events you've done. Reese said 5 players we need to sell. So yeah, anything like that, any subjects for the breakdown, put them in the comments below underneath this video, or post on social media. I'll have a look, and we'll pick one. We'll do that tomorrow. Been a pleasure, my friends. Take it easy. Make sure you subscribe, spread the word about Cardiff City World, and we'll see you in a bit. And if you came yesterday, thank you very much.